Welcome back to the IBFP. Here's your host, Boxing Nuke.
Welcome back, fight fans. We have breaking news. The fight date has been announced for Daniel Jacobs and Sergiy Derevyanchenko. The fight date announced is October 27th at Madison Square Garden in New York City. This is a good fight against two world-class boxers. Sergiy Derevyanchenko comes in at 12-0 with 10 defeats. 12-0 with 10 knockouts on his record. He's undefeated. And basically, he's a very heavy-handed power puncher. He's a boxer puncher, has a good aggressive style. And Daniel Jacobs, on the other hand, is 34-2 with 29 knockouts. So he's very heavy-handed as well. He's very well experienced. He is the younger man, ironically, out of this. Daniel Jacobs is 31. Derevyanchenko is 32. This will be a great fight and a very good clash. Daniel Jacobs can fight in a multitude of ways. He can basically fight in more of a pure boxing style for purists, not staying in the pockets, getting in and out the pocket, utilizing distance and reach, or he can come in and just brawl and just go toe-to-toe and slug it out with Derevyanchenko. I wouldn't recommend doing that. But at the same time, if he did, I don't think he would be unsuccessful as well. He has a lot of experience, a lot of knockouts, and he hasn't been knocked out against any top puncher since his loss to Dmitry Pirog, which we believe was an anomaly, and that happened all the way back in 2010. Since then, he's been in with top guys such as Peter Quillin and Gennady Golovkin. And so for him not to face any significant damage in either one of those fights is fine. He had one knockdown against Golovkin, but he didn't seem to be hurt at all. So I think Jacobs is prepared to take his game to the next level and win this fight. I do think that's where I would lean, is with Daniel Jacobs, but that's not to say that Sergiy Derevyanchenko cannot win this fight, and if he does win this fight, it will be by stoppage. Both of these are very, very good fighters. They were both trained by the same guy, and Andre Rozier. He had to make a choice, and he picked Daniel Jacobs. This fight's not going to get a lot of coverage by a lot of media for the simple fact that these guys aren't flashy fighters or, very big talkers, but they're very, very good fighters. So if you're a boxing purist, you love good fights, make sure you watch this fight. On the undercard of that fight, they'll also have Alberto Machado. He'll be defending his title against Yundel Evan. Alberto Machado is 20-0 with 16 knockouts. He's a very talented fighter, and so that'll be a very good card. And this is something to see. Daniel Jacobs' last major fight was against Gennady Golovkin, a 12-round unanimous decision loss. There's a lot of controversy over that. A lot of people think he won. In my opinion, I think it was at the very least a draw. At the very least a draw. Now, you could have given the round to Golovkin or Jacobs, but I don't feel like it was a robbery because it was so close. So I'm okay with Golovkin having it. I would just like to see the rematch personally. After that, he's defeated and fought Luis Arias and Maihai Sulecki, and so those were very good performances where he fought two different styles. With Sulecki, he fought more toe-to-toe, and with Luis Arias, he fought toe-to-toe, but he used more boxing ability, so he didn't sustain as much punishment. Daniel Jacobs has a variety of ways in which he could fight. Now, if you look at a guy like Derevyanchenko, Sergiy hasn't had any top-level opponents on his records, and that is the only thing that would concern me. He looks fantastic. He looks amazing. His power looks legitimate, but there's no one on his record anywhere near the level of Danny Jacobs. His last three opponents were Deshaun Johnson, Turiano Johnson, and Kamal Russell, and neither one of those guys strike any fear in anyone. Turiano Johnson is probably the best name out of those three, but nothing that strikes fear. This will be a great matchup. Please stay tuned for more breaking news with the IBFP. Please subscribe.